Poverty is often misunderstood as merely the lack of money, but in reality, it is the constant pressure of insecurity, fear, and survival. When a person lives day after day without stability, morality slowly shifts from a question of right and wrong to a question of necessity. What once felt unacceptable can begin to feel unavoidable. In poverty, survival becomes the first priority. Food, shelter, and safety outweigh abstract ideas like ethics or long-term consequences. When basic needs are threatened, people are forced to make difficult choices. Small moral compromises, lying manipulation, silence may begin as temporary solutions. Over time, these compromises stop feeling wrong and start feeling practical. One of the most damaging effects of poverty is the loss of dignity. When society repeatedly ignores someone's suffering, that person may stop seeing themselves as worthy of fairness or compassion. This loss can lead to emotional numbness. When you are constantly struggling, empathy for others can weaken, not because you are heartless, but because you are exhausted. Poverty also creates imbalance in power. When someone who has always been powerless suddenly gains control over resources, decisions, or other people, it can feel intoxicating. That control may become a substitute for security. Instead of kindness being genuine, it turns into a tool for maintaining that power. Another way poverty twists morality is through isolation. Poor individuals are often excluded from social protection, education, and support systems. Without guidance or accountability, moral boundaries erode. Decisions are made alone, justified internally, without challenge. Over time, harmful behavior can feel logical, even justified. Poverty can also distort how people view suffering. When pain becomes familiar, it can start to feel normal or inevitable. This normalization makes it easier to rationalize harm. Actions that would once seem cruel may be reframed as mercy, efficiency, or realism. Importantly, poverty does not automatically create immoral people. Many poor individuals remain honest, compassionate, and principled despite extreme hardship. However, prolonged deprivation increases psychological pressure. Without relief, support, or hope, even strong moral foundations can crack. The greatest danger lies in self-justification. When survival-based decisions are repeated long enough, people begin to believe they are right. They rewrite their own narrative, convincing themselves that their actions are necessary or even helpful. This self-deception allows morality to collapse quietly, without guilt. Ultimately, poverty twists morality not by creating evil, but by reshaping priorities. When survival replaces values, kindness can become manipulation, care can become control, and necessity can become excuse. The solution is not judgment, but awareness, because preventing moral collapse requires addressing poverty itself, not just condemning the choices it forces people to make. Poverty slowly changes how people see the world and themselves. When a person grows up with constant lack, hope becomes fragile. Dreams shrink, that the future feels uncertain in such conditions. Morality often bends under pressure, not suddenly, but gradually, almost invisibly. One of the first things poverty takes away is choice. Wealth allows people to say no, to walk away, to wait. Poverty removes these options. When choices disappear, people act out of urgency. Rather than values, what matters is not whether something is right, but whether it works. This shift can quietly damage moral judgment. Another powerful effect of poverty is humiliation. Being unable to provide for oneself or one's family creates shame. Over time, shame can turn into resentment. When resentment grows, people may stop caring about the harm their actions cause to others. The world has been cruel to them, so cruelty begins to feel justified. Poverty also trains people to hide their pain. Admitting weakness can be dangerous when resources are scarce. This emotional suppression can harden a person, making empathy feel risky or unnecessary. When emotions are buried for too long, compassion toward others can disappear. In many cases, poverty pushes individuals into environments where trust is currency. Jobs involving care, service, or obedience often reward silence and compliance. People learn quickly that appearing kind, polite, or harmless is a survival skill. Over time, this performance can replace genuine morality. Power, even in small amounts, becomes addictive when someone has lived without it. Making decisions for others, controlling outcomes, or influencing vulnerable people can feel empowering. This sense of control may fill the emptiness created by years of helplessness. Morality bends against power begins to matter more than fairness. Poverty also distorts accountability. Poor individuals are often invisible to systems meant to protect society. When no one is watching, when no one expects better, moral boundaries weaken. A person may feel that their actions do not matter because their life has never mattered to anyone else. Another dangerous consequence is rationalization. Poverty teaches people to explain away their behavior. I had no choice. Everyone does this. The world is unfair anyway. These thoughts protect the mind from guilt, but they also erase responsibility. Slowly, right and wrong lose meaning. It is important to understand that poverty does not erase humanity. Many people living in extreme hardship remain deeply moral and compassionate. However, when poverty is long-term, untreated, and combined with isolation, it increases the risk of moral collapse. Pressure without relief breaks even strong structures. Ultimately, poverty twists morality by reshaping priorities. Survival replaces values. Control replaces care. Justification replaces conscience. The tragedy is not only the harm done to others, but the quiet loss of the person someone once was. To prevent morality from being twisted, society must address poverty not as a personal failure, but as a collective responsibility. When people are given dignity, stability, and choice, morality has room to breathe. Without those things, even kindness can become dangerous.